Very interesting things which could impact each one of us.
Dollar in debt. I think, I don't know, somebody would have received the WhatsApp message. They fired 10,000 people today, right? Both Elon Musk and Trump, they fired 10,000 people today. They have to go home. So it's not that the big countries are all great governments and things like that, okay? So, but we'll talk about something which impacts each one of you. So before that, I want to ask some questions. What is the expectation from the stock? I mean, I know before that I want to understand. You have put 3 screens. We come and show something to you, all of you. And likewise, me and Sanjeev wants to take something from you guys. You could have put that in the other 2 screens. What is it about SJCE or JSS? So next time, please do that. So this could be our screen. Those 2 should be displaying something about JSS. Please make a note of it. So next is I would like to ask some people from there. What do you want to get from this conference? At least for next 1 hour. I have a lot of things to give. So can anybody tell from that section? Especially with a lot of ladies there. You all came just to attend and spend 1 hour and go, or what is the objective? Why did you come? Somebody from there? The red color saree? Yeah. Yes, madam. We put people in very uncomfortable position always. Okay. Sir, that blue color shirt, this side. Sir. Here. In front of you. Blue color. Sir, any objective to take out from this?
Just to tell the students what you have learned here.
Okay. Thank you. Somebody from here, I think there are some more people like us who came from the industry, somebody from Keynes and other. And what is the audience profile, sir? Actually, I asked Mahadev Swami sir earlier.
They are all faculty from technical institutes of JSS Mahavidyapita.
Mostly the faculty?
No, all are faculty.
Okay. There are no students?
So the first students are there.
So how many are students?
They are sitting in the corner.
Yeah. And how much is your total MTech strength?
Total MTech strength is 24, 18.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And then the non-JSS community is only this row, right? So I'm one of them, right? Okay. So it is mostly JSS staff, some students and some industry members, right? So what we should get from that is actually, see, our message has to be, I think someone introduced me. This is me. Okay. So I want to make it very interactive because at least at the end of this today's presentation, at least I want 5 to 10 people to resign from your jobs. Okay. So that will be our objective. Okay. So that I have some reasons for it. The reason is about your family. We are all entrepreneurs when we run our family, right? We have balance sheet, right? We have our income, we have our expenditure, right? And then some madam was telling that her kids were in US, right? So now what do we tell them actually? To do what? So you have to learn enough to tell them also. Even if we are not entrepreneurs, we have to make our children an entrepreneur. I think Sir was telling that he wants to take it to and tell the students and make some of them are entrepreneurs. By the way, there are some amazing companies came out of Mysore. I think Keynes is one of them. There is a company called Hexmoto, very close here. It's an amazing power electronics company. We work with them. Okay. And there is Proxelera. Ravi's company is pretty good. They're all pioneers actually. They try to do something very difficult. Okay, they go through a lot of struggle. So Mysore is an amazing place. Last time when we came, we met your MP, the king. so that we are setting up our semiconductor manufacturing plant in Nanjangud, but which is under some kind of a freeze now. We haven't yet decided. I'll give you some ideas about that also. So our life should be our lesson to everyone, right? So I'm a BE, and like ECE, Mahadev Semicon department, I'm also ECE department engineer. When I did my computer science, because in those days, electronics and computer science combined very well. Okay, so we are only 10 students in MTech in Anna University, and we recently had our reunion in New York. Except me, the rest of the 9 are in US. Okay, this is a brain drain, right? But very interesting thing is now all the 9 are talking about coming back actually. So the reverse brain drain will happen. So I spent about a decade of my foundational domain experience I gathered at Texas Instruments, both India as well as worldwide. We set up Texas Instruments Regional Technology Center in Chicago. And you won't believe the guy who taught me everything about VLSI is a BS psychology. He never studied engineering. Okay, so don't give a damn to what you study, what you know, how many marks you got, and whether he is the top student or he's the bottom student. Every human being has a lot of potential. Okay, that's what we are going to tell, and I'm an example. When I started my life, my salary was 2,200. Okay, probably today my net worth will be 22 crores or 220 crores. Okay, so that's how to grow. So we have done about 100 and plus chips actually in my lifetime. Okay, and I don't know, this projector, the chip behind this projector is also done by us. Okay, we don't know if it is a DLP projector. It was yes, because we did that memory chip which went into the digital light processing chip, which Texas Instruments did. I had an opportunity to work with the inventor of the DLP, Mr. Larry Hanbeck, and some madam asked about what is nanoscience and all that stuff. In fact, you should be telling us. Coming from an institute, you should be telling us what is happening in nanoscience, not the other way. The reason I am telling is Larry Hanbeck, he was actually making chips. And you know, in chips, the last layer is the metal layer where we make connections, right? The metal layer used to be either aluminum or copper. So you put the metal layer and you polish it. So when he was doing it in microscope, he noticed that metal layer was reflecting. Okay. So then he struck this idea, why can I build a mirror out of that? So he built suspended mirrors above the chip actually. So it's actually a light switch. So the mirror, if I store a memory bit underneath, the mirror will tilt this way. If I store 0 in that memory bit, it will tilt this way. If I store a 1, it will tilt the other way. So this idea came for him when he was polishing the metal, because he saw through microscope that it can reflect. Okay, so the ideas and inventions can come in any form actually, right? And it might happen to you even while you're walking, driving the car or driving a scooter or whatever. Okay, so I had an opportunity to work with him because we built that memory chip, the memory bit which went behind the mirror while he was building that mirror. So Texas Instruments, maybe that is what is driving the light engine in this projector. And when we talk of projectors, I think Sajid talked about, there is a company in Bangalore today. You all should read that. It's also a startup called Roomber. I know how many of you have heard about it. They really make the best projectors now. Okay, you can go and Google it and find out. So like Sanjay was telling, see, why India did a lot of things what we did, because we have different types of problem compared to America. I mean, America has only some 250 million people, whereas we have 1,400 million people, right? So we have to feed so many extra stomachs. So that's why we went into certain things actually. So why we let in MNCs to come. We were once very good in material, EDA, system design, product making, but we gave it off to everybody, but we are now recovering it back. And by the way, we don't need to worry too much about it, because these are all natural cycles. It's like a water flow model. This is like, I mean, Mysore is famous for, let's say, paddy. I mean, how are we going to enable New York to grow paddy? Imagine all New York streets are all converted into paddy fields, right? So can we do that? No, right? It's like that. So after coming back from TI, we started the first startup in my life. It is called Silicon Accelerated Graphics Engines. So it's SAGE. So you won't believe, even before Infosys, we got our company listed in NASDAQ. A lot of people don't even know this. Everybody knows that Infosys did the listing, but we were only about 100 odd people in some streets of Indiranagar, and from the houses of that street houses, even our house was next to Rahul Dravid's house, Prasanna's house in the same lane. We used to build chips in that house. We used to make about 6 chips every year, okay, and sell it in the worldwide market. We got listed. Our stock went from $0 to $72. We all made good amount of money. We could even allow our receptionist to buy an 1 crore house somewhere. Okay, so we shared wealth. Okay, so once you do that, then you want to do that and give it off to everybody. So it's a. So after that, I got into mostly a lot of investments and do some funding. So I have done about 20 investments, and Sanjeev talked about only 10% of the startups successful, right? Which is very wrong, because 100% of my startups are successful, except 2. Okay, and the 2 were run by me actually. Okay, it is because you get emotionally attached to what you run, and you are very, very professionally managed startup. Every startup we can make it successful. So we can do. This number is 4% in US. Okay, Sanjeev is right. The numbers say that, but if you are really sure, and especially in India, especially in Mysore, like Keynes was successful, Praxlera will be successful, Hexmotor will be successful. The success rate is very high. I will also show you some statistics to prove that whatever we do in India usually becomes pretty successful. That's the definition for a developing nation actually. So then I thought I should give back something to the industry. So I took up this some kind of honorary or a voluntary engagement with the government of Karnataka. So I was the founding CEO of Safal. So then I ran that, and in fact, while I came out, I got this, my director of engineering, who is actually from SGCE. I convinced him to take my place. Today, the CEO of Safal is an SGCE person. Okay, so you can talk to him. In fact, if you want to get the COE started, just call him. He will come with his team. You can get it started. Okay, they will do, and they're actually in the process of getting their second Safal 2.0 approval. I think I heard. I'm still on the governing council. I'm open to say that I think it has gone to the cabinet approval or something. And by the way, I have dealt with almost all the political system here in Karnataka. Like the people, even the political system is extremely good actually. We have dealt with BJP IT minister, Congress IT minister, chief minister. They're all really good. But we have to really think like everybody is good and go and work with them actually. Okay. So they're coming up with Safal 2.0. I think, sir, you should get in touch with them and really Sridhar, his name. Okay. I think Sanjeev is also connected to it. I am connected to it. You can do a lot of things which you want to do. I'll give you some ideas on what to do actually. So currently, right now, then when I came out of Safal, we went and presented to, but we never even met Sridhar, the Zoho founder, Vembu Sridhar. I think all of you know that he's a visionary leader, and he wants to basically enable rural India to be very, very prosperous, even in technology and other areas. By the way, he's developing a next generation language sitting in Tenkashi, a language called Pali that could replace Python or something. Okay, so that's the kind of research he is looking into it. So we convinced him that we will start a silicon carbide manufacturing plan. So he supported us so far. We have submitted our application also, and it is at Nanjangud actually. But we are going through some review of that actually right now. So we haven't yet decided what we will do further. That's what I'm doing. The Selectric is a 100% owned Zoho venture, but with for us, we own some percentage of that. So that's why we are all co-founders, 5 of us, a few of us from Texas Instruments, my ex-colleague, and few from US, one person from Singapore. So we do that. So that's why my title is that. So this is my life about for 1988 to till now. We are doing mostly in semiconductors, but investments we used to do in any area. We even tried one banana growing venture. Okay, I don't know how many of you know there is a brand called Dole. If somebody has been to US, the Dole brand of banana is very, very popular in US. We don't have any branded bananas in India. Okay, so there is a pharma guy who is basically all his life spent his time in pharma. He came with this proposal: I will grow a branded banana, and it was an amazing banana. In fact, he did grow, and then we all ate that banana also when we funded him, but he could not succeed, and then he closed it. Very interestingly, he took some 25 or 50 lakhs from us. Very interestingly, that's the beauty of our country. The guy came back and returned that entire money because he took responsibility that it didn't work. Okay, he returned the entire money. Okay, so we all should be very proud of the country and who we are, what kind of a race we are actually. And that is special thing to Canada. I mean, why so many people, including me, why so many people came to Bangalore? And why so many people came to Karnataka? Among all South Indians, and Canadians are the most welcoming people. I think that's the reason actually, right? So, and that too Mysore. In fact, while coming, me and Sanjeev were discussing what will happen if Mysore grows like Bangalore, right? That's why we really need to ask Sanjeev, how many of them really want to have what Mysore want to be actually from today to next 10 years? Magadha Swami will have something, Rutra Swami will have something. We need to ask that. In fact, we did take we were trying to put the fab in Dolera because that is where generally the central government likes it to be. And in Gujarat also there is another place called Sanan. And then we also looked at Orissa, Bhubaneswar, Info Valley. We also looked at Mysore. So everywhere we went and really analyzed the strength and weakness of each one of those places. Despite all the assessment in our matrix, finally we decided Mysore means in the matrix Mysore assessment came out the best. One of the reasons was the educational institute actually. So you all should be very proud of that. Okay, so we are still doing that. We don't know what we will do, but right now we are in the process of the transition discussion. Okay. Now this topic given to me was how do we build this development. I have made this presentation very useful to each one of you as an individual, whether you are a staff, whether you are a family person, what to talk to your children, even you can make an entrepreneur out of your kids actually. I have 2 daughters. One is a doctor, the other is a designer. So most of my investments in healthcare is targeted for my daughter. Okay, the first one. The second one is very creative person. So I go and look for some creative ventures. I mean, you go and look, there is a nice venture called Pencil. The name of the company itself is called Pencil. You know what Pencil does? I think all of you know 3 Idiots, right? So the Pencil, the entrepreneur is, we are all becoming readers of books, right? So Pencil wants to make everyone to become a writer. Okay? So you have to think like that. Okay? So you can write your own life. All our lives could be written as a book, right? Not just our life, even our parents' life, our grandparents' life. So his aim is to make everybody write. So already they have written a lot of, enabled lots of people to write books. Last we heard from that entrepreneur was that about 3 books are ready to be sold as a movie material. So that's a venture. So I felt that should be very related to my daughter, the second daughter who is creative, right? So I invested in that so that I link her, so we discussed it, okay, we debated, I'll pull her into some of those Zoom sessions, make her listen, okay. It's very, very important that the investment mindset has to be built into each family. It's an asset, okay. It's not about buying a 40-30 site in Mysore, Muda, somewhere, get into problem. Instead of that, you can also put some money into some of the startups. This is also called alternate class of investment. As a mother, father, brother, you have to do that and you have to learn about it. Okay, it's very, very important. That is one lesson. You have to take it for yourself. Go and read about a lot of things. Okay, I'll tell you where all to read certain things. So, since the topic from JS's perspective is about how to do with the development, let us understand where we are today and where is the rest of the world and why we need to develop and what we need to develop and how to develop. Okay. So, where are we? So, how many of you have seen this DPIIT website? Please raise your hands. So, only two industry rows have seen it. It's very, very important actually. Even as a staff member, you want to teach something to your students. I think the teaching, the traditional classroom teaching and the book references, textbook references are slowly giving way to experiential teaching now. So it is important that you know certain things. For example, this is very easy. You just go to that Startup India government.in. Every day it changes actually, because this is just, in fact, 2-3 days back I made this. So total startups are 153,367. This is the number, right? Maybe the startup could be 50,000 more or 50,000 less, doesn't matter. But this is what is DPIIT registered startups. This is all startups. Okay. And if you go and there's dividing this into industry and sector wise, if you do industry as a technology hardware, it is 4,048. Okay. And in that you go and do sector, electronic sector, it is 1,325. And semiconductor sector is only 115 as of today. And let's add another 50, because no, somebody said, no, I'm not interested in DPIIT registration, so I'll just run by myself. So let's put in another 50. So we are roughly about 200 startups. I think that's the number. In fact, when Sanjay was talking, the idea behind DLI was to create another 100. Okay. Now, can you guess what is the 32, 43, 13, 27? Anybody? Which adds up to 115. So what this could be? 4 classification. Yeah. Any other answer? It is actually stages. Some of them are very early. Some of them are making small revenues. Some of them need some scale funding. All that. Okay. So assume that. That's how you should analyze it. Okay. So now, in all of this, if you look at it, the noteworthy ones, I'm giving you some samples. I just picked it up so that you can understand and you can relate it to also to go and talk to your students. Almost all 90 DLI selectees, I think Sanjeev gave the number as 80 or something. Yeah. So all of them who are selected, they are extremely good startups. Okay. In fact, if you want to invest some 5 lakhs into each one of the startups, you should do that. Okay. Because all of them are going to be extremely successful. Okay. Take a MindGrow. Okay. Take anything from that list. Okay. And now, is there any startup in that list from Mysore? No. Right? That's bad, right? That's bad on the part of educational institutes like JSS, given the fact that some fantastic college like SJC is there. Even then, there is not a single startup either owned by SJC alumni or driven locally here. It's not there. So now you should take it as an objective. How do I create one? It's possible to create. I'll give you how to create answers on how to create it also. This is the company recently closed funding. Okay. So I think all of you heard about the AI evolution and a lot of talk about, but who powers those AI data servers or that NVIDIA servers? Finally, there has to be a power supply unit, right? So these guys are the C2I. These guys are going to build a special power discrete device to power those PSUs actually. It was so unique idea. Then the funding is instantly committed by many people, actually by Yali Ventures. The Yali Ventures CEO is, the founder is Ganapati Subramaniam, who himself is a Cosmic Circuits and then Serial Systems, a serial entrepreneur. So he saw that same spark, what he found in himself in those people. So it's a power semiconductor venture. It's right now, I think it's in close to about $4 million. Okay. Now there is another venture called AI6. So it is basically a processor IC for edge AI. So some ex-Qualcomm, Intel founders are there. They are in the process of closing their funding. I'm just giving you a few examples. Okay, but is it enough? Okay, so now where is our rest of the world is doing? Okay, so we are at the bottom. Okay, so we know that our count is somewhere around 200, right? Now look at it, China has around 1,000. Okay, somewhere slightly less than 1,000. And Southeast Asia plus Korea plus Japan is roughly about 1,000. And we usually club Israel with Europe, so it is 1,000 plus. And then North America is about 2,000 plus. So if any startup, let's take the C2I startup also. The same startup, which is, let us say, which is founded in Silicon Valley or Toronto in Canada, instantly they will be valued at 5x more than C2I in India. That's the reality. Okay, we can ask a lot of questions, we can feel bad about it, but that's the reality. So this is why we call this as, you see it, the total number wise, let's say we are about 5x lower in number, and value wise, we are always 5x lower. Okay, and what will be if we build some good companies, then what will be the net value will be the integral multiple of this actually. Okay, so those are all the opportunities available to us, and it is happening, by the way. In fact, 2 months back, I was in US for about 45 days searching for our technology partner. So we have spoken to many people. All of them, first thing is they want to do something in India. Okay, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is design, fabless or systems, whatever it is, everybody wants to work with India. Do you guys know why? Why there is a inclination to work with India? Any idea? Okay, market is definitely one, because we are 1.4 billion with our consumption power increasing. That is one. What is the other one? No, our east is very hard, right? Even coming to Mysore is very hard. So dealing with government. So those are all not that great. Okay. Now, do you think that we have real great skill sets? Which is wrong actually. We don't have. Okay. Even today, very hard to hire VLSI design engineers. Ask him. Okay. Yeah, maybe I think he's almost there. The real reason is we are a good country. We are great people. That's the only reason. We don't cheat. Okay. Have you ever seen in electronics industry any single theft in country? Not a single theft, by the way. You know how many thefts in Taiwan and China? If I give a code to Taiwan guy, by the time I reach there, no, that same code will be available with another guy, without my knowledge. Same thing in Korea. And China, forget it. Okay. So we don't cheat. We are a great country, we are great people. That is what we should market. Okay. Same thing about Japan. You don't notice theft there. Okay. So we are as good as Japan even, but that's why Japan guys come. You know, there is an organization called JETRO in Bangalore. Okay, been up with you. The 2 year is just to gather whether we are same as them. Okay, and they find that, and then finally they decide. Okay. Actually, sir, you should talk to even JETRO. Next time you get a JETRO person, we can help you to connect and ask them to come and talk. The good thing is this building is it's called Center of Management Studies, right? There is a management science, humanities are also there. So you should really get those staff involved and talk about, you have to see, technology alone is not going to get any good startup. You have to understand the business. First thing in startup is understanding why we are doing. Okay, that comes from your humanities and management studies. I'm very glad to see that you are running this in a CMS building. Get them involved. Get management students involved. Okay. And sometimes a lot of startups, even including couple startups, 2 startups they call it flipping. What flipping means? I start a company in India, then I flip to Singapore, I flip to USA. I move there. I move my headquarters. Okay. There are one photonics company, very good company called Lightspeed AI. It flipped from India to Singapore. Okay, they're doing very well. Okay. By the way, they returned money to Sapal. Okay, you should know that. A startup which takes money from us to start, and we take an equity of, I think Sapal takes about 3 to 5%, and then they give back money. Can you believe government took money from the startup? That was policy. Okay, voluntary. It's not that forced or anything. So there are companies doing that. In fact, a few more exits are going to come, and government is very happy because of that policy. And this trend will reverse soon, that we are already seeing it. Again, because you know why? Again, because it's a good country to deal with. Okay. And but there are a lot of competition coming up. Middle East is really working a lot. Vietnam. In fact, one of my friends has a company in Vietnam. He is a Vietnamese founder. Vietnamese American, but he has never even gone even once to Vietnam. And he has a 60 people team there, about 10 or 12 PhDs. It costs roughly about $10,000 per engineer there. Okay, high quality work they do. Indonesia, Egypt. Egypt announced about $10 billion similar semiconductor fund, which we have announced. The government support Spain and Eastern Europe and South America and Africa. These are all untapped. Why I am telling this is, even as an institute, it's time to look for what can I do in Egypt. Okay, I think we should. This is a global village. Honestly, I think now that's why Madam said 6 children are in US. I mean, some of you, everybody will be traveling. We don't need to think that. See, patriotic is good actually, but it should really help us. I mean, imagine this: if we become self-reliant and we don't import anything, and supposing every country has become self-reliant, what will happen? Okay, so trade will never happen, right? So that's not the case. We should always, what is good for us to produce, we produce that, and what is good for them, they will produce it, and we need to exchange it. That's the whole idea. We don't need to be overly patriotic about certain things which we shouldn't be. Okay. So we send this. Now why? Why we need to build the electronic system or a semiconductor components? If you buy a car, say 10 lakhs car, easily about 1 lakh of that is electronics. I mean, I just put some conservative numbers. This is roughly about 10%. And today, if you take any appliance, 30% of every appliance is electronics. Communication equipment, if you take a phone, I mean, more than 60 to 80%. And compute is dominantly electronics, 90%. And only our food has no electronics. I mean, we don't know. Maybe very soon we'll be eating electrons and protons or something. We don't know. And I think Sanjeev told we import in billions and export only in millions. We need to reverse it or we need to balance it. There is nothing wrong in importing billions also. But the future conflicts, which is, I mean, we are especially in a region of very vulnerable region, right? We are surrounded by very, very famous people. So future conflicts will be electronic in nature. Okay, and we cannot mortgage our safety with foreign intelligence. Okay, so this is the reason why government announced the $10 billion, and there is a talk that there will be another 10 billion or 20 billion will come. But even though this budget, Madam Ji didn't give anything so far, but eventually it will come. Okay. So what we should develop? So D&M skills is, I'm calling design and manufacturing skills, materials and R&D. Okay. So actually we are buying, we almost signed a contract to buy a crystal growth company in Singapore for our manufacturing silicon carbide raw wafer. So we were actually very good in materials R&D about 30 years back. Okay, but today there is not a single worthy work happens in materials today all over India. Okay, so that is something we need to generate interest, and there are tremendous opportunities. For example, Sweden does lots of crystal growth experiments and people. Okay, so that's what the last 1 year we have been studying. In fact, we put ourselves as that, not just manufacturing, we will back it up with future R&D. So we had that always. So we did lot of this work in the last 1 year, and we found a lot of people willing to work with us. Honestly, JSS kind of institute, it has a reach and it has a power. Can go and sign up with some institutes in Sweden. We have to collaborate and do it. We cannot, it's not invented here syndrome has to be taken out of your head, whether you are a staff, whether you are a management, or whether you are a student. We have to learn. Learning is the only constant thing in life till we go to the grave. Okay, so we have to work with everybody. Okay, so materials R&D. Okay, if you go and see, there will be some solid state department, solid state subject. Nobody will be even registering for that course. Okay, those are all it is our responsibility to excite people, at least 10% of the people to start studying those things, and tremendous scope actually. In fact, yesterday one of my friend's daughter, she finished her MSc and now she has secured a R&D PhD admission in Taiwan, and she is going in 2 weeks time. Okay, in materials. Okay, National Taiwan University, Technological University. So that means that girl has felt that, hey, I want to do that, right? So encourage that. I don't know, the previous IT minister in Canada had this internship itself should be in outside the country. I think even Kargeji also supporting that a lot. So those are all the things. Make sure that what is available, make sure that your students, some of them go there and do it. And never have this, hey, why should we have to travel? And only when you travel, you will really understand what is there. And people and machines. Okay, we have to create people, right? And we have to create machines. I don't know how many of you know how many metal additive manufacturing machines in the world? Where you can 3D print the metal. Okay, the demand is 27,000 machines are needed today. We only have 2,700 machines. You know who bought the last machine for India? Our Prime Minister. He bought one machine from France for VLSI Trivandrum. So it can print the turbines, the engine parts and all that. So we need 2,700 only available, 27,000 is needed. So there is a guy, very smart mechanical cookie in Coimbatore. He is building his own machine now with about 16 crore budget. Okay. And you know where they get funding? Very easy. You go and tell somebody like Vembu Sridhar, you go and see and tell the story. Okay. Why it is important to build it. Okay. And go and talk to L&T chairman S.M. Subramaniam. He is very famous for something else, but right. But you know, he is the one who committed 500 crore for fabless activity from the corporate. Okay. So don't read only all wrong things. Always read a lot of nice things. Okay. You have to reach out. How do you reach out? That's what Sanjeev was telling, mentors, people. You have to have a lot of these kind of sessions. It doesn't need to be us from Bangalore, anybody, even among yourself. I mean, there are people here. Take every manager from Keynes, they should come and visit SJC for something or the other. Okay. ANS is there. Okay. Amazing companies will come. Hexmoto, I mean, it's an amazing set of electrical knowledge and electronics power knowledge actually they have. Okay, I don't know how many of you, how many staff members listed their office. I think either Microchip or somebody, the next generation power device, their Hexmoto is building. Right in your backyard. Okay. So leverage global strength. We have to do that. You know, who is there? I mean, you know, even in Trump's ceremony, you could see lots of Indians, right? It's everywhere actually. You go everywhere, we are there. Now we need to make use of it. Okay, we need to make use of our diaspora, their strength. You go anywhere, you take a Lam Research, Applied Materials, any equipment companies. I think IC division is called India Chinese. Okay, in US, the IC industry is called India Chinese industry. You will have just connect with them. All are really willing to connect and contact. And your overseas chapter of your alumni, sir, your alumni will be extremely powerful. So get your alumni involved in anything you do. Okay, get them. So what are the other things you have to do? It's system products, chips, IPs, algorithms, and tools. Okay, this is where you should focus on. Okay. And by the way, I mean the system product, I was really surprised when I visited Roomber in I think I heard their manufacturing is done in Mysore only, something like that. Okay, they tried Keynes or they were doing something else. Don't know. It's an amazing projector. Okay, it's a front row. It's only like the projection will be here. You can get a TV-like screen. The advantage it uses, you don't need screen actually. You can project it on any wall. So imagine moving your TV inside home anywhere you want. Okay, so there are some very good advantages. It has a TI engine, Intel's compute engine, the Harman's speaker, and Sony's sensor. Amazing product they're doing. So that is one example of a system product. And how do we do it? I think this is a very key slide for all of you to take home to talk to your students. Sir was asking about it. There is no VLSI design semiconductor branches. It's called ECE. Okay, but we really have to build a focused semiconductor engineering. How you guys do it, we don't know. You guys know better than us. So you have to figure that out because it's almost. I mean, how electrical and electronics were together at one time, right? Then they separated like that. I think it needs to be done. If you are an autonomous and you have power to do it, go ahead and do it. And there's maybe a few universities. I think we only heard about JSS is only because Akhilesh Yadav makes it also very popular, right? Because he studied here or something like that. Okay. So like that, you could be the first institute where semiconductor is offered as a brand. Okay. Have a department also, have a HOD also there. Okay. Masters and PhD programs and dedicated staff. See, this is a very easy way you can realize it. I'm assuming Mahadev Sami sir is like 60, 100 students is equivalent to. In fact, Sanjeev talked about starting from third year. I am telling it should start on the day of admission. You have 100 potential engineering resources available for you for 1 year or 4 years actually, right? So 400 man years is available to build startups. Okay, if academic education is one part, you have to start in parallel, same day, same. Okay, you should come up with some ideas how to do that. Okay, so you can easily build. We in industry we call it this 136 pyramid. Every project is executed using 136. 1 at the top, 3 at the middle, 6 at the bottom. So that's why I'm even giving you 1 PhD, 3 MTech, and 6 BTech. Okay. So the startup can be owned by college, the professors, and students. This is how MITs of the world develop actually. Okay. Start in the first year itself. So build these pyramids, and you have 40 man years per pyramid. Okay, for an UG entry to exit. Doesn't matter even if it does nothing, goes nowhere, it's fine. But imagine that experience that student and all of you will gain. Okay. In fact, we have a theory that if you want to fail, we have to fail fast. It's okay. 1 year you try, second year you change it, third year you change it, right? Like that. And governments and industries can help with seed capital. Actually, there is a wrong theory that there is no money in this country. By the way, like we are good people, we have unlimited wealth also. Only thing is we don't know how to go and tell stories to get that wealth to work for you. That's our problem. It's not the person who's having the money's problem. Even your spouse has a lot of gold, right? She won't give it to you because that's the saving in case of emergency. But if you want to take 10% risk out of that, you have to convince a good story and tell her, right? That's what I and all did. Okay, we invested 20 lakhs about 13 years back, and that returned us 9 crore, 45x return. Then I tell my wife, do your the gold rate of return, and this is my rate of return. Okay, so that's the way you have to tell stories, and you have to always tell very credible, good stories, not cheating stories, right? And always pick tough challenges. That's the idea of an educational institute. Okay, don't worry about whether something similar could be done somewhere else. I think somebody asked about IP. I think this IP is a hoax actually. When we talk like this, when we are thinking about an idea, there is easily 100 people will be thinking same thing in 100 corners of the world. So don't worry about protection and all that. Be very open. In fact, we are not responsible for our brain at all. That is given to us as a gift by our parents. Okay, we don't have any rights. Okay, they could have fixed something else also, right? So don't worry about that protection. Protection comes much later. Okay, so be very, very open, be very transparent, freely discuss, even write a paper and do it. If your idea is so easy for somebody to reading it and copying it, then it's not even worth an idea. Okay, even if you write paragraphs and books about it, it should be still good enough. Okay. Example, the CNN accelerator energy optimization. I'll give you some examples, even detailed examples. The CNN accelerator is what making the DeepSeek what it is. And if anybody know, I mean, all the research professors or MTech students, have you found what is the mathematical operation, the basic mathematical operation this convolution models have to do? Nobody knows. Okay. That is what should be coming out of institutes and research scholars, staff members and students. But if you go to, say, Canada, the AMMI kind of institutes, in fact, we have a startup in which fundamental algorithm work happens there, and then other people are just implementing it in India. Okay. Pick up such problems. And what help is available? I think Sanjeev talked about lots and lots of help available today in India. It is just that you don't seek and ask. Lot of times in our life also, we don't even ask anybody, even within the family. We don't even discuss. That is where we suffer. We need to go and seek out and ask. Okay. All the Shuffle startups, this is not telling because I worked in Shuffle, all the startups, there is no reason for it to fail actually. Okay. That's the kind of startups which are with Shuffle. It has, we call it as a residual success. Okay. We even have some mathematical formula for it. I'll explain it later on. Then EDA tool access, IP access, you can build some silicon access, fund access, and business development support. All that is available. And all the schemes, like if you have a DLI scheme, there is another scheme, I don't know whether JSS have applied for C2S. Actually, you should be, you are eligible for C2S. Okay. You have to clinch that C2S. Whoever it is, somebody, a student, pick up a management student, pick up some engineering students, pick some staff. It is their responsibility to get C2S project to JSS. Define that as a project. They can start working from day one. What worst case, what will happen? They won't get it. How does it matter? Okay. And there are similar work, similar kind of accelerators like Shuffle and Silicon Catalyst that actually opened up in, started in USA. Recently they opened up in UK. They plan to come to India. By the way, it's all run by lots and lots of Indian. The CEO is an Indian, Tarun Verma or someone. Okay. And Venture Lab Canada is also another interesting. So you can connect. They will love to, Silicon Catalyst would love to connect with JSS. Okay. For whatever reason. And VC firms and corporates today, really lots and lots of interest to be associated with at least few hardware firms. At least few, because in their portfolio they want to show that there is an electronics investment. Otherwise, you are not even treated as an investor today. That's the status. Okay, you go and talk to any VC firm. Okay, and they will be very interested in putting at least one or two investors. And make use of your humanities and management departments to cover business course. Every failure is because of, there are only two, three big reasons. The founders fight with each other and they don't get along after some time. And they get emotionally attached to the technology, whatever they build. This has to be delinked by these people, humanities and business guys. And it's important. You do an enterprise only because it makes business sense, not because you love doing it. Okay, there are a lot of other things to do. You can learn dance or you can learn something else, right? So UG students, worst case, what will happen? They will collect real industry experience in the 4 years, which is what Sanjeev said. If you are only doing everything in Raspberry Pi, okay, then the ARM guy doesn't like it at all. Okay, that's the real truth. But when he enters the ARM itself, he tells us, I have already tried your ARM. There are so many problems here because we tested it in our startup environment in the colleges imagine what will be the situation for him. So this is why I want to excite some of you to quit your job and start doing, or you don't even need to quit your job and you can still enable a startup. Okay. So you have to find a purpose first. Okay. And define your company in one single declarative sentence. Okay. Easy to get. Okay. A lot of people now, they will come and tell, for example, take this EV companies, the battery swapping, charging, all those things. So a lot of people, we learn to, there is one fundamental problem we have, that's why our skills don't develop, is we try to copy a lot actually. But when we copy, even we all learned our design skills from our US counterparts. But when we designed, we went with a software background. We realized that all the designers never had a software background. So what we did was, not only we designed, we automated the design. So it took 10 months to do something, we could do it in 3 months. So that we added extra. So that's why slowly Texas Instruments jobs came from US to India. Okay, I went there first, my manager was all teaching, and 3-4 years later that manager was fired. Okay, then Hitchell Technology has passed me by. This is his statement actually. Okay, because we knew technology, we knew software, we knew automation. Okay, so we have to apply something unique, special about what we do. And problem, describe the pain of your customer. I think this is where the humanities management people will help. Okay, every problem there will be an existing solution. Okay, we have two types of solutions: existing solution, replacement solution, and then emerging solution. So you find out which category you are. Sometimes you will build an emerging solution actually. Okay, and then there is a need. For example, during COVID, the ventilator design was everybody wanted to do it, right? Now nobody talks about ventilator, including Scanray maybe. We don't know, right? Solution, right? And also you have to really tell about your value proposition, and it should be very compelling. Okay, and it is never going to happen to you in 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month and all. I mean, some spark might come, but you have to build up. Okay, and you need to tell why now, why we need to do it. Okay, all these things actually all done by the entrepreneurs in US, in engineering institutes, or any institute in US, or even in the environment. That's what they do in US. That's why their ecosystem is very strong. Of course, you have to look at the competition, business model. Okay, how do you intend to survive, thrive, and excel? Okay, this is the most important part actually. Team. Okay, you have to tell really a credible story. Okay, and people make a difference. The investment, early investment, is given only on people, nothing else. Okay, so that is why we get a lot of funding also. You know why? Because India is again full of good people, so they get funding. If somebody is not getting funding, you can easily tell they may not be a good people. That's all. It's very simple. I mean, it's black and white. Okay. And financials. I mean, look at we have given you some mathematical equations. Okay. So this is the biggest ratio. I take money from him, and then I start doing some work. Okay. Then that's the money I take from him, and then that is my capital. And then every year I take some capital, and then I'm using it what I am producing. So that is called annual rate of revenue. Okay. So after 5 years, I make one revenue the 6th year. That should be more than the cumulative money I took from him. So, and it has to be much, much higher than 1, which is good, in the shortest time possible. So this is a mathematical definition of a startup in financial mathematics. So this has to be visible. If you make a 20 slides, it should be visible in that slide. And then the moment that investor gets convinced, he gives a check right then and there, and he will be with you always, because when you do this, his money multiplies. Okay. And more than anything, I think we have done, I mean, I have done about 20 startups, either some of them in parallel, some of them in sequence. We always enjoyed. Okay. You only build something which you like, not otherwise. Okay. So startup building is like living in ICU and getting married in ICU. Okay, like that. That's very, very tough. But you work through it, enjoy, and come out of it. then you become successful. So this is a simple construction. Sir, you can give it to any of your management people and ask them to build it. Attach one management guy, three engineering students, and build 20 slides actually. You add all of that, it will come to 20-25 slides. Okay. And this is fundamental today in families also, by the way. Actually, this you can talk to your children also. They have to know to survive in future. You have to know this. I'm even talking about how to even present actually. It should be very crisp, simple. Slides should not be filled with like textbooks will have the ability to fill. No, it won't attract anybody. It should be very simple. Okay. So if you have noticed it, I used only 3 types of fonts even in this presentation. Okay. And when you present, you will have aged investors. There may be somebody 70 plus. He can't even see actually if you put it in small font, right? The moment he notices the first slide itself, he can't read. Then he already will say that I'm not going to give money to this guy. Okay. Anyway, these things they'll leave it to you. You can read it later. Now look at. I'm giving you an example. Why it is very hard to fail in hardware. Okay. Extremely hard to fail. Okay, I have never seen, unless founders fight with each other, not a single failure is actually happened in India. A lot of people don't know this, but we studied everything, every company. At least I am very proud to tell I've been associated with almost all the hardware semiconductor startups in India. This is true. And look at the example. There is only one death. Have you noticed it? So I marked that also. And that death also we know why it died. Okay. We even had a success formula just before 1 month before the death also, but they didn't listen. Okay. So what do we need? Look at it. See, this initial capital rise 7.5. There is, I think Sanjeev explained about how much capital the startup founders can secure from government. 50 to 60% of it you can secure. Imagine even colleges like JSS or universities can build a small corpus fund. Even you can even come to a lot of VC houses, they will help you. Or they will associate all the VC funds. The next time when we come, you should have VC guys coming and talking, and they should associate with supporting all the startups here. It's very, very easy actually. It's not at all hard to raise. And then there is the C2S, DLI, then SAFL, and there is a similar startup, incubator in IIT Hyderabad and Bombay, Sign, everywhere actually. They all will help. So it's very, very easy, even from a staff member perspective. Okay, even from my MTech students, it's quite reasonably easy to do the startup attempt actually. Okay. And business plan should be, how do I make my first 1 million? Who is going to pay me when I make this product? Okay. And this is what it is. I told you it's very hard to failure. Let us assume, see the semiconductor engineer, I think Sanjeev mentioned about the FAE salary. You know the value of a semiconductor engineer in globally is about $500,000. Okay. You go to Accenture, the revenue per employee is about 200K. If you go to Infosys, they make about 40K. Okay. But semiconductor people are supposed to be $500,000 per person. This is the rule, thumb rule. So if you are 20 people at the end of your exercise, take 2 pyramids. So that is inherently worth 10 million. You develop such skills. Okay, it is inherently worth. You can go on demand in the market. That is how that Vietnam, I told you, my friend has a company there. Their burn rate is like that only. Okay, so it is worth it. You can build it. You should build easily about 3 or 4 such initiatives with your students. And by the way, India is the semicon destination today, and we should be visible in that fact. How will we be visible? Maybe there should be something written about, even in JSS website. If I crawl it, I should find that some help is available. That's how we should be visible. All these companies are extremely successful, but we will be celebrating them. Okay, on their way to success, except one. Okay, And in fact, serial systems exited, they were sold to Micron. Okay, Lightspeed AI is one which flipped to Singapore. So now coming to, I think, the last few slides. So what are all the opportunities? I think somebody asked as a staff member in materials, the wide bandgap, silicon carbide, GaN, gallium oxide, the crystal growth, raw wafers manufacturing, these are all very amenable to institutes actually to do some kind of a study and work. And we don't have furnaces to grow the challenges. Okay, so now we are even, in fact, Zoho founder has asked us to build the furnace first. So we are looking at how to build the furnaces. Okay. The furnaces is where we put silane powder and we let it heat. It's almost like our, we call it the brick furnaces. It's very similar, but it is made up of graphite. So it extreme heat, 3000 degrees centigrade, they fuse and then they become some kind of a wafer like cylinder kind of thing. Then you polish it, keep polishing so that it becomes a wafer. So we don't have furnaces. You know, who makes the maximum furnaces today? China. And very funny thing is, all the semiconductor solar manufacturing equipments from China has banned them to come to India. But China is allowing all these furnaces to come to India because they need business. Look at the contrast. Solar, our Indian solar companies have become competitors to US China solar companies. So they don't want to enable us to make solar. Okay, but they want to sell crystal furnaces. Okay, because there is plenty of companies. Okay, even in our business plan, we have put Chinese equipment, then there is non-Chinese equipment. And India, to protect this, Indian government has blocked Chinese furnaces. Okay, so this is something. Finally, it is between two governments and politics and other issues, right? But it's okay. But what I am telling is, there is no way we can exclude a country or include a country. All that will happen driven by the economic law. I mean, this is like water flow model. Water will flow from high to the lower region. Chips actually. These are all some areas. Like Sanjeev said, the discretes also don't think that, in fact, the whole venture for which we submitted about 600, 700 million, the chip is nothing but a single transistor, one MOSFET transistor. And tremendous amount of scope in that. You go and see power MOSFETs in silicon carbide, gallium nitride, silicon. There's tremendous scope in all of that. So what are the problems? You may not have access to PDKs, we call it. And the problem is, again, there are no risk taker. Most of them are comfortable sitting. I could have remained comfortably in Texas Instruments, but I decided to come out. So the idea was to encourage a lot of such people to come out and do things. And including Indian corporates. Actually, except Tata's, I think no other corporate picked up the fab, right? So, and we were trying to pick it up from Zoho Corp. Okay, so even Indian corporates don't take high risk, but there is nothing wrong about it because they do business analysis and take that actually. Okay, so there is always a time will come where they will pick it up also. So IPs, you can look into these aspects. And here, lack of funding. I won't say not even lack of funding. It's a mismatched entrepreneurial and VC intent actually, mindset. So it is our responsibility to match that mindset, change that mindset. That's happening actually. So AI design, actually, these are all the only 3 companies we know today active in EDA space. I mean, there's a lot of scope to do EDA. There is a company called Singularity, SimYog, and then AstraQuanta. The AstraQuanta is that Canadian-Indian venture trying to do something using AI in synthesis, okay, circuit synthesis. System products, I think you should know all these. You'll be happy to see Xmoto here. Very good products which can be very successful even in global market is being made by Boat, Noise, Roomba. Rapture was in CES recently. They just got funding from Shark Tank also, okay, like that. And now this is also happening. Even though I put them, all of them are challenges. All that is, these challenges are, people are making use of it. Now a lot of corporates like, I mean, Keynes, I know Ramesh, he invests and helps a lot of small companies. Okay. It's all happening. Now coming to specific, I think this is something I leave it with you guys. For example, what do I do next actually? Depending on your interest domain, I just picked data center will be good for most of the people. You have to go and first collect data. A lot of data you have to do, even as a staff, even as a student. You have to go and study. For example, when we wanted to study what kind of power supplies needed in data centers, we studied what are the data centers. Okay. So if you look at it, China has the maximum number of data centers, right? 8,540 data centers are there. So we are around 1,463. We are above median, okay, all this. And this is also measured in terawatts hour actually, okay. So this is energy consumption by all the data centers in terawatt hour. Imagine as a power electronics or an electrical or electronics guy, you make a 0.1% efficiency improvement. Then you can do the math yourself and how much money we can save. Okay, it might be equivalent to one power plant. So that's the level of analysis you have to do. And we have to study even more deeply. How is their scenario? This is what the business guys have to do. If I assume a low growth of my data center, what will happen? If I assume a high growth, what will happen? Okay. So this is all, this level of interest has to be shown by students. I mean, this is not about writing some code and all that stuff actually, because we have to come out of that era now. Writing code was fun at one time. Now you have to deeply study, and now there is lots of ways. You can get all this by asking a few questions in ChatGPT or Perplexity or anywhere, Gemini or Meta. Okay, you get all of that today. And then you have to look for your own moat, or we call it niche and USP. In data center, what is the moat we were searching for? We thought we will attack the edge data center. By the way, this is our own assessment, and this is what we are focusing on. Okay. And we found that the edge data centers, the compute power requirement is somewhat less, so its power is only 500 kilowatt to 2 megawatt. So now you go and target some product for that market. Okay, and then build your niche and USP. But it accounts for roughly half of all servers. So that means still good enough market. Okay. And it is growing at, the growth is also there. The business is very much there. So this is the kind of analysis your management studies, your engineering students, they all have to do it collaboratively. It's sometimes very hard to appreciate one person doing everything. He may be very good in only doing some kind of circuit design or something. He will ignore that. Then that guy is becoming entrepreneur becomes a problem. So you have to attach a few more other people with that. Okay. So that's my last slide. Hope it is useful. So thank you. And you have any questions? Yeah. This is kind of my proposal to you people. Okay. So use the UG students and build your startup without resigning. Yeah, this is PhD. No, see, I'm assuming that you will have some PhD. Yeah, that is this. 3 MTechs. You said there are 4 MTechs were sitting there, right? And professor was really upset that they're not doing anything. So they can do this, right? And 6 is your BTech. This 3 MTech guys may go for dinner or something with these 6 guys. They may have some liking. They're all from some Mandya or something, right? Find out something. That is our job. We did all of that. Okay. See, before starting, I was the founder of Sankhya Labs also, by the way. We all 6 of us came together. We took up a house in Kormangala. We didn't move out of that house for 1 year. We studied communication engineering again. Because when you study again, you learn more actually. Okay, just do that. Yeah, I'm assuming your intake for EC is 60, right? So there are 6 pyramids, so 6 starters, right?
How it will be?
Yeah, that's 60. Every 10 is one startup.
What kind of startup?
Let's see. Don't worry about. First, accept that. Will you do it? I will give you 20 problems for you to solve.
You should have an experience about it.
No, that experience. This.
You are telling about starting from the first year. So it is very difficult.
No. Completely. In fact, we hired. No, I think these are all wrong concepts, madam. Actually.
That's what, because sir was telling like most of the startup companies are industry are not single. So
that is what is the job of this one. What is the PhD guy doing for 6 years? Writing thesis and ask him what did he do yesterday.
Industry level.
Oh, PhD itself is supposed to connect the institute and the industry. That is the job of PhD. They have to do applied research, applied science, right? You do theoretical science, then leave that guy out actually. Don't worry, instead of 6 pyramids, you do 5 pyramids. You're okay.
What about the infrastructure?
That you demand from Mahadev Swami and this management.
And it managed from the industry.
Yeah, we are telling, I mean, why should, madam, why should, yeah, why I and Sanjeev, our time is money, by the way. We paid by the hour. We have come here because sir asked us to come. That's all. So every help is available because you don't ask. Glad that you asked. A lot of people don't even ask anything, no? They just go and forget today and tomorrow. Oh, there is one guy came and they spoke about something and they went off. But I want you to tell at least your child.
Why India is only thinking of
What is our GDP, madam? Let's see how much you have studied GDP. And what is our GDP? You should know. That now you have to do a lot of research. If you, our GDP is $2,000, right, per person, okay, which is very poor, right? You just do the math, right? It's very poor. How do we go to $12,000? China is at $13,000 or $14,000, right? So 6 times, how will we go? We need to go and do 6 times more work. This is what Narayan Murthy and SNS told actually, but we interpreted it wrongly. Okay. But work does not mean that come into some place. How will you work actually? You do the academic teaching and you go and set up a room, get another 4 or 5 students, talk about this. Slowly some interest will develop. Okay. You don't even have a faith that we have to do it. First we have to accept our problem. It is equal to 50%, it is solved. We don't even accept. Most of the academic community is in denial, even in IIT. Okay. I'm not surprised because we go everywhere. Okay. But it's okay. It's nothing. I mean, we are not God or just to tell that something is right or wrong, right? But we are just telling these are all other possibilities. You explore, which is good not just for you, for your children. Okay. Because they are all going to live in even more competitive world. You have to think. And once you think, there will be a lot of solutions will come. Yeah. Any other questions?
How do you promote mindset into the students where they are too much into job and yes, because I also teach.
No, sir. Everything there is. India is such a big country. Why? See, when Dennis Bus came to India, we were 800 million only. And he said, I will find 8 good people. That's why he came and hired some of us. So for every class, you will find 8 people like that, sir, who wants to do what you want them to do. And they will listen to you. Don't worry about the remaining 92%. They will not listen. Why are you expecting them to listen? Okay, that's all. You put the problem on you first, actually. We all did that, actually. Problem is ours. Okay.
Put that problem in the cradle and take it. It's not me, somebody has to.
So many people from Mysore come to us, actually. So many people. And it's a great entrepreneurial city. Only thing we are worried is whether it will spoil the city. That's all. Yeah, I wanted to ask one question. Why is Mysore is known to be a retired, very lazy place? What are you going to do? I leave this question with you to change that mindset. Is it good to change or leave it like that? No, madam, don't lose Mysore. Yeah. Yeah. How do we do it? For example, there is something called ESG. That is the most hard topic. Okay. The department itself can be created for ESG, environment, all those things, energy and all that. So do that. So that's the idea. And if you do anything, money will come pouring. Even JSS management will be very jealous of you. Okay, plenty of money available world over actually. Free money. If you make an ESG proposal, you will get money. Okay, thank you.
So thank you for your insightful sessions on Indian semiconductor journey. So your insights on collaborations, time to market observations, and vast opportunities for engineering professors and students were truly inspiring. So we deeply appreciate your expertise and valuable knowledge and shared today, sir. Thank you, sir. So now I request HT sir, HOD, Department of Electronics and Communication, Engineering, JSSAT, Bangalore, and Paul, Sir Paul, and Natarajan sir, and HOD, Department of Electronics and Communication, Mr. sir, to honor the speaker.
Paul complains. Oh, yeah, I will tell Ramesh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. At the time now, it is